What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best NBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now, don't forget to like this video as it does let me know to continue to give you free picks every single day. So make sure to like this video, clicking that button down below so I know to make a video for tomorrow. And I also did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group. And as you guys see, we actually got 19 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak. But if you want to get 19 picks right like me, win more bets, or receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord to meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. It should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $500 just yesterday, and another member who won $420 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Janzaman8338 who said, won myself $120. So shouts out to him. And if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're talking about is none other than Nickeil Alexander-Walker for 2.5 assists, and this one actually is for less. Now, as you all know, Nickeil Alexander-Walker has done a great job for his new team, the Atlanta Hawks, and we do actually know when it comes to Nickeil, he has gone on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at these 5 games, one of those was actually from last season, so technically it's out of 4 games, but we do actually see October 23rd faced off against Toronto, had 4 assists there. October 25th faced off against Orlando, had 4 assists. Then October 26th faced off against OKC, had 2 assists there. Then October 28th faced off against Chicago and had 3 assists in that matchup. So we actually have seen, when it comes to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we have seen him do a fantastic job. But coming into this matchup, it is going to be an exciting one because we do know that Atlanta Hawks face off against none other than Brooklyn Nets. Now, it is going to be an exciting game, and looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta do come in at the 10th spot in the actual Eastern Conference. They have a record of 1 win and 3 losses. That's also a 25% win percentage. They're 0 from 2 from home, 1-1 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. Now they face off against the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Hawks face off against Brooklyn Nets, where Brooklyn Nets actually have had a pretty poor start to the season because they currently come 15th in the Eastern Conference, and they have a record of 0 wins and 4 losses. So that's a 0% win percentage. On top of that, they are 0-3 from home, 0-1 from away. So it has been definitely very interesting to see there. Now, coming into this one, we do see that Brooklyn Nets, when it comes to actually assists allowed, surprisingly, we do see that Brooklyn Nets do actually rank, when it comes to assists allowed, they rank 30th. So why do we like the under for this situation here? Now, a big reason being is that when we actually look at the Brooklyn Nets actually do a fantastic job at restricting assists to the guard position. Now, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, although he is a great player, his usage rate doesn't really rely too much on assists. You know, he does other things out there such as score and also be a great defender. And as you see, his line is only at 2.5. So his assists out there are very rare in some sense. You know, I don't think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the type of player to hunt for assists. He's more just letting the game come to him, and it definitely does just happen on occasion. But with a matchup like this, although Brooklyn Nets do rank very low overall, when you actually look on a per position basis, we do see that Brooklyn do a great job at restricting, actually guards. So that's why we do very much like the under for this one. Now, when we actually look at Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we do also see that when we see that his average over the last 5 being 3.2, it is obviously, somewhat skewed because of that most game from last season. But I think overall, when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. He has faced off against much easier teams over the last 4 games, so we should see a different outcome in this next one. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 2.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Evan Mobley. So Evan Mobley, as we all know, great player for none other than actually Cleveland Cavaliers. And this this one is a fantastic one for 19.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Evan Mobley, we actually have seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, this one's an interesting one as well, as we have seen that when it comes to the last 5 games, 4 of them are actually from this season. October 23rd, faced off against New York Knicks, had 22 points there. October 25th, faced off against Brooklyn, had 13 points. Then 23 points against Milwaukee on October 27th. 15 points against Detroit on October 28th. So, very, very interesting to see there. Now, looking at someone like Evan Mobley, we have definitely seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 4, as we are looking more specifically at this season. And Cleveland do face off against none other than Boston Celtics. Now, it is going to be an exciting game. However, looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with Cleveland. Cleveland have actually gotten off to a pretty good start, actually having a record of 3 wins and 1 loss. Now, they have a 75% win percentage. They're also 1-0 from home, 2-1 from away, and are currently on a 3-game win streak. Now, they face off against Boston, as we mentioned, and Boston do actually have a record that puts them in the 12th spot in the Eastern Conference. Now, they have a record of 1 win and 3 losses, 25% win percentage. On top of that, they are 0-1 from home, 1-2 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So, very interesting to see there. Obviously, Boston used to be a very, very great team for the Eastern Conference, but they definitely have started off the season with a little bit of a struggle. Now, looking at Boston defensively, when we actually look at points allowed, we do actually see that Boston ranks 2nd when it comes to points allowed. So, although they haven't really been performing well in a sense of wins and losses, we have actually seen when it comes to Boston, they still do a great job at restricting points. Now, this is for major reasons, as Boston are a great defensive team, but on top of that, they do like to slow down the pace of teams as much as they can on defense. And with a lot of that defensive focus, it has definitely paid off somewhat, because although they haven't won any games, they've done a great job at restricting points. So for that reason, we do very, very much like the under for someone like Evan Mobley. Now, Mobley is a great scorer, but with him being somewhat of a main player for this Cleveland team, we are expecting Brooklyn to really come out, hone in, and focus on someone like Evan Mobley and try to restrict him as much as they can. Now, Boston do a great job against centers as well, so it definitely does help, going for the under for this pick here. And when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So Evan Mobley, 19.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about Kyle Filipowski. Now, as you all know, Kyle Filipowski, great player from none other than Utah Jazz. And this one is actually for rebounds and assists combined for 9.5. And this one actually is for less. Now, looking at actually Kyle, we actually have seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, similar to the other situations, we do actually see that he has gone on the under actually in 2 out of the last 3 games, as 3 of the most recent games have actually been from this season. So actually looking at that, we have seen him actually, go on the under on October 23rd, face off against LA Clippers, had 9 rebounds and assists there. So under by 0.5. On top of that, we also saw, against Sacramento, had 10 rebounds and assists on October 25th, and then 7 rebounds and assists against Phoenix on October 28th. So, very interesting to see there. Now, looking at this matchup, Utah Jazz face off against the Portland Trail Blazers. It's definitely going to be a good game, but looking at where both of these teams do actually lie. Starting off with the Utah Jazz have actually gotten off to a pretty good start. They currently rank 5th in the actual Western Conference, and they have a record of 2 wins and 1 losses. So, definitely interesting to see there. 66.7% win percentage to be more specific. They also have a 2-0 record from home, 0-1 record from away. Now, they face off against Portland Trail Blazers, where Portland haven't really been doing so well, because Portland actually find themselves in the 9th spot in the actual, Western Conference as well. And on top of that, they also have a record of 2 wins, 2 losses, a 50% win percentage, and on top of that are 1-1 from home, 1-1 from away. So, very interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, but we do also know, looking at Portland defensively, we do actually see, starting off with assists, we see that Portland Trailblazers rank 7th when it comes to assists allowed, and when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 14th. So, although Portland don't really rank too well, similar to the Boston pick, we do actually see that Portland do a great job at restricting rebounds and assists, and this really does come down to the pace that they do like to play. Portland Portland, although, in the past being a fast-paced team, they do like to slow down the ball as much as they can. And especially for a team like Utah Jazz who like to play fast, we are expecting Portland to try their best to try to restrict them as much as they can. So for that reason, we definitely do very much like the under for this one. For someone like Kyle, who I would say unfortunately doesn't have the highest usage rate for this team, we are definitely expecting the under, and other players in this Utah Jazz team to have a little bit more of a usage rate. Now looking at Portland as well and looking at how they have done so far, we also see them do a great job against centers, and that's why we are definitely sticking to the under for this one. So keep an eye out for Kyle Filipowski coming into this matchup. 9.5 revs and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Rui Hachimura. Now as you all know, Rui is a fantastic player for none other than the Los Angeles Lakers, and he has done a fantastic job so far this season. We've actually seen him average 16.7 points, tying him at 70th. Also 3 rebounds, 150th plus he ranks, and then 1.7 assists, tied for 150th. Now he also shoots 69% from the field, which is really good. It actually ranks him 8th, so I thought that was really interesting to see there. But when it comes to Rui Hachimura and the Los Angeles Lakers, they have gotten off to a pretty decent start, but they are hoping to continue that streak and, try to get a couple more wins under their belt. Now they have themselves a very, very good matchup against none other than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now it is going to be an exciting game for sure. And looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with the Los Angeles Lakers, we have seen Lakers do a pretty decent job as they currently rank 7th in the Western Conference. Now they have a record of 2 wins and 2 losses. That's a 50% win percentage. And on top of that, they are 1-2 from home, 1-0 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. Now they face off against the Timberwolves, where Timberwolves do rank 8th in the Western Conference, and they have a record of 2 wins and 2 losses as well. So same record, 50% win percentage. And on top of that, they are 1-1 from home, 1-1 from away. So very, very similar when it comes to their ranking, their record, and all that. But looking at this team defensively, Timberwolves that being, and looking at the defensive pressures that we are expecting on Rui Hachimura, looking at Timberwolves, we do see that they rank 19th when it comes to points allowed. They rank 12th when it comes to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed. They also do rank 12th. So they rank pretty decent in all 3 categories. They rank a little bit better in rebounds and assists, while Minnesota do rank a little bit worse in points. But coming into this one, we do very, very much actually like the under for this situation here, but strictly just for rebounds and assists. Now, a big reason being is that when we actually look at Rui Hachimura, not only is he a fantastic player, but we also do know that his usage rate remains pretty low in the rebounding and assist department. There are other bigger players in this Lakers team that are providing those rebounds and assists, and for someone like Rui, who is facing off against a team that do a great job at restricting those things, we are expecting Rui actually to go on the under for that reason. Now looking at, also the matchup, Minnesota Timberwolves not only rank really well at restricting rebounds and assists, but they also do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds and assists to the forward position. So we are definitely expecting the under for this one. Now looking at Rui and also his last 4 games that he has played, we saw on the 22nd faced off against Golden State Warriors, had a 119-109 loss there, and had 9 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds. Then on the 25th, faced off against Minnesota, had a 128-110 win with 23 points, 0 assists, and 2 rebounds there. Then on the 27th, faced off against Sacramento, had a 127-120 win with 18 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds. Then 16 points, 1 assist, 6 rebounds against Portland, and also that was on a 122-108 loss against Portland on the 28th. So, we have seen Rui actually play Minnesota recently, and he did go on the under in his rebounds and assist line, and that's why we are expecting, another under for this one here. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for someone like Rui coming into this game, as we see a lot of value there to go on the under, but like I mentioned, strictly just for the rebounds and assist line. Now, getting into the next player, going to be talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. So Tim Hardaway, great player from none other than the Denver Nuggets, and he's done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 7 points, 1 rebounds, 0 assists, and also has a 35% field goal percentage. So he's definitely played a role-playing type role very well for the Denver Nuggets, and when it comes to the Denver Nuggets, they find themselves in a really good matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game, but looking at where both of these teams do rank, starting off with the Nuggets have started off the season strong as they currently rank 4th in the Western Conference. Now, they have a record of actually 2 wins and 1 loss. Now, not only that, but they also have a 66.7% win percentage. They're also 1-1 from away, 1-0 from home, and like I mentioned, they do currently rank 4th. They face off against Pelicans, and unfortunately, Pelicans are on the other side of the table because they're also in the Western Conference, but they actually rank 15th. So they have a record of 0 wins and 3 losses. It's a 0% win percentage, and also on top of that, they are 0-2 from home, 0-1 from away. So Pelicans are definitely looking to try to get, their first win under their belt, but it is definitely going to be difficult, especially against a Denver Nuggets team. Now, looking at actually New Orleans Pelicans and where they do rank when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists, we do actually see that they rank 22nd when it comes to points allowed, 6th when it comes to assists allowed, and then rebounds allowed. We also do see that, they actually rank pretty poorly as they rank 29th. So they actually rank a little bit better in assist. However, for someone like Tim Hardaway Jr., we do actually like the over for this situation here, but strictly just for points. Now, a big reason being is that not only do New Orleans Pelicans rank very poorly, as I mentioned, 22nd, but they also do a very poor job at restricting points to the guard position. So we are expecting someone like Tim Hardaway Jr. to take advantage of that. When you look at Tim Hardaway as well, his usage rate definitely is a lot more of scoring than anything else. He doesn't really average that many rebounds, doesn't really dish out that many assists. He actually averages 0. So he is out there to try to be a scorer and get high volume shots. And that's what we have seen from him so far this season. And that's why coming into this next one, we definitely like the over for someone like Tim Hardaway against a tough team in a sense of that they're really poor at defense, which is the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, looking at his last 3 games, we saw on the 24th faced off against Golden State Warriors. Now, they did lose 137-131 in an overtime game, but he actually had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists there. Then faced off against Phoenix, had 4 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, on a 133-111 win against Phoenix on the 26th. But he did shoot pretty poorly, 20% from the three-point line, 16% from the field goal percentage. So definitely didn't shoot well there. And also against Minnesota, 127-114 win with 20 points, 3 assists, and 1 rebound. And also had a 63.6% field goal percentage there. Now, they have done a great job. Obviously, they do have a record of 2-1 as we've mentioned. But coming into this next one against this easy Pelicans team, we are expecting the over for someone like Tim Hardaway Jr. in the points department. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the over for this one. As I mentioned before, when it comes to actually, Tim Hardaway Jr., keep an eye out for the points line because I see a lot of value there to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Immanuel Quickley. So Immanuel, great player for Toronto Raptors, has done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 15.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 7 assists, and also shot 38.1% from the field. So he's done a great job there. Some key takeaways is that in assists, he actually ranks 14th with that, which I think is great. But on top of that, Toronto Raptors have themselves a very tough matchup against the Houston Rockets. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams. But looking at where Toronto Raptors do currently lie, Toronto Raptors currently ranked 9th in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 1 win and 3 losses. That's a 25% win percentage. And on top of that, they are 0-1 from home, 1-2 from away, and are currently on a 3-game losing streak. So very interesting to see there. Now, looking at someone like Toronto Raptors, not only have we seen them do a fantastic job, but we also do know when it comes to actually, Toronto Raptors facing off against Rockets, we do see that Rockets do rank somewhat similar as they rank 11th in the Western Conference and have a record of 1 win and 2 losses. So that's a 33.3% win percentage. On top of that, they are 1-1 from home, 0-1 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So Houston Rockets are definitely, somewhat in a worse position because when you actually look at conferences, Raptors rank a little bit higher. Even though on paper they look pretty good, we've actually seen that Rockets haven't really done too well. And looking at Rockets defensively, we definitely do see something pretty interesting because they rank 15th when it actually comes to points allowed. When we look at assists allowed, we also do see that the Rockets rank 17th, and then rebounds allowed, we also see the Rockets rank 6th. So it is pretty interesting to see. Looking at those, we do actually see that Emmanuel Quickley and also Toronto Raptors facing off against a Houston team who don't really necessarily do well on defense. Now, yes, they do rank a little bit higher in rebounds, but assists and points, they definitely do struggle at. And that's why for someone like Emmanuel Quickley, we do like the over for this situation, however, strictly just for the actual points and assist department. Now, I definitely would keep an eye out for assists more than anything due to the fact that when we actually look at assists, we do actually see that when it comes to, Emmanuel Quickley, he does have a very, very high usage rate in the assist department, but I think points is definitely still very viable as well. I see a lot of value there to go on the over and either, but if there was one to definitely keep an eye out for, I think assists is definitely where you want to focus just a tad bit more and see how that line comes out. Now, looking at the most recent games, we see on the 23rd, faced off against Atlanta, had a 138-118 win with 13 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds there. On the 25th, faced off against Milwaukee, had a 122-116 loss with 19 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. Then on the 27th, faced off against Dallas, had a 139-129 loss with 14 points, 5 assists, and also 5 rebounds, and 15 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and a 121-103 loss against San Antonio Spurs on the 28th. So very interesting to see there. Now, when we actually look at, Emmanuel Quickley, we do also know that when it comes to his usage rate, it has remained very high and consistently over those games, which is what we like to see. He's had some great turnouts. His assist numbers have remained high. Points numbers have remained high. And that's why coming into this one, we do like the over, especially if the line is under his averages. But like I mentioned, definitely keep an eye out just slightly a little bit more for the points and assists category. So getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Aaron Nesmith from the Indiana Pacers. Now, Pacers have had a bit of a rocky start to the season, but he's actually averaged 12.7 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1 assist, also had a 37.1% field goal percentage. So when we look at Indiana Pacers, yes, they have done, somewhat of trying their best out there, but they have definitely struggled. Now, when we look at Aaron Nesmith and the Pacers, they do have themselves a really good matchup against Dallas Mavericks. Now, it is going to be an exciting game for sure. And looking at where both these teams do rank, starting off with the Pacers, unfortunately, Pacers have gotten off to a very, very slow start. They currently rank 14th in the Eastern Conference, and they have a record of 0 wins and 3 losses. Now, they are 0-1 from home, 0-2 from away, so they've actually lost every single game and are currently winless, and they face off against Dallas Mavericks. Now, Dallas Mavericks haven't really done any better. The Dallas Mavericks actually find themselves in the 14th spot in the Western Conference, and they actually have a record of 1 win and 3 losses. That's a 25% win percentage, and on top of that, they're also 1-3 from home. So pretty interesting to see there. Very somewhat similar records, just a tad different, but still in the same position either way. And looking at, Dallas Mavericks and Aaron Nesmith when it comes to how Dallas will guard them defensively, we do see that Dallas Mavericks do rank when it comes to points allowed. They actually do surprisingly rank pretty poorly as they rank 17th, so not really the greatest there. When we also look at assists allowed, we see that the Dallas Mavericks find themselves in somewhat a similar position because they rank 20th, and then rebounds allowed, Dallas also rank pretty poor as a rank 26. So, very, very poor in all 3 categories. And that's a big, big reason why we do like the over for someone like Aaron Nesmith coming into this game. Now, it's just very evident that Dallas Mavericks are, a great team. Do not get me wrong, but their defense is very, very poor. Yes, on paper, they may look very good, but they have definitely struggled defensively. And that's what's led to a lot of their losses. And coming into this one, we are expecting Aaron Nesmith to be able to take advantage of this and go on the over on his lines. Now, when it comes to Aaron Nesmith, also points and rebounds, he definitely does have a little bit more of a higher usage rate in that than he has in others. That's why I definitely would focus a little bit more on points and rebounds more than anything else. Now, when you look at Aaron Nesmith over the last 3 games that he has played, on the 24th, faced off against OKC, had a 141-135 double overtime loss, had 5 points, 7 rebounds, 0 assists there. Then had 15 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 128-103 loss against against Memphis on the 26th. And on the 27th, faced off against Minnesota, had a 114-110 loss with 18 points, 2 assists, and 8 rebounds there. So it's definitely been interesting to see when it comes to Aaron Nesmith and the Indiana Pacers. We definitely have seen, Indiana not do that great of a job, but Aaron Nesmith's stats, his percentages out there has definitely remained very high when it comes to his usage rate. That's why we are expecting the over for this situation here.